let it look around. You can see this one up here, and there's others underneath those hiding. They're totally different paintings, with paintings of fruit and things like that. And then this is, let's see if I can get this. Switch this on, to get more light. And this one here, this isn't really, there's some more here that folded up, but this is a sad, terrible story.
Wait, can you like see people? Like, can you put like a person here standing without moving and could like you could draw them?
Yes. I can teach drawing. I can teach you drawing. Teach anyone.
Yeah, I like art.
Well, you see this one here? This baby was waving bye-bye to his mother, who hung him under a light in the room and murdered him. And she told about it waving bye-bye as he left her, left the baby. She left the baby. Like I said, in memory of this baby, I did this painting. But I've got, there's more stuff like that underneath there. There's a lot of works.
Explain this one.
This is called Celebration. See the hands? It's a simple, obvious thing, right?
She's happy she's pregnant. She's happy she's about to have a baby.
Perhaps.
She's not thinking about her problems.
No, she's wondering about what her future is.
Yeah, she's wondering, but she's not thinking about problems.
You're not a woman. There's some more in here.
Oh yeah.
That's all jump on Bob. I sold one like this, not exactly like this, to a lady in Colorado early this year. She wanted it, and then she had me do another one, so I sold her two. I sold 4 paintings just before I moved to the other place. These are other. You can kind of fold it up. There's this one right down here. Headless person in the full red sky. And I stole that figure idea from a famous artist by the name of Dolly.
This type of art I like. This type of art I buy. Is this what he does? Now this $1,000, $2,000, maybe. The most I pay for this one right here is $5,000.
Most you pay, okay.
The max.
Okay, we have to have a signed copy. Okay, here's some other things that have a bunch of drawings like this. These drawings up there. These are called Marching Dolls and Pop Tops. That's the title of that. Have a look. This is from, it says here, I probably should do another, or something like this. This is from 9/11 when the people were coming out of the towers, and the children in the school nearby, they said, the birds are on fire. People coming out of the 9/11 in the towers. You know about 9/11? And the children in the school nearby said, the birds are on fire. And there was people burning, coming out of the tower. After the plane crashed, yes or no. And this is the phoenix. The phoenix in the form of this is a bird. The phoenix is the name of the bird here. Is the thing that comes resurrects and into fire, and this phoenix comes up with fire as people are dying. It's in history. It's in all kinds of writings and things like that. And this is that painting. See the person here, but it's just kind of important. But in this other room is the other part. There's 2 parts to that painting. One part's right here. It's upside down. The Statue of Liberty. You
Oh
just
yeah.
see. penny can be either way, upside down or what. We'll probably should have it turned around, but right now it's. I met a Muslim the other night. He's definitely bad news.
Why?
Do you know any Muslims? That's an interesting. This guy was wanting to rent from me. His girlfriend's in the end unit, staying in the unit with somebody. And I said, so what's your name? He says, my name's Noor. I says, Noor. Where's that? He says, it's Arab. I said, it sounded like it Arab. I said, so you're a Muslim? He says, well, I'm Christian. I says, no, you're Muslim. Well, my mother's Muslim. I says, and you practice? And he says, well, I said, do you know what jihad is? Well, that's for crazy. So that's the crazy to do that. Really? I said, the ones that flew the planes into the towers were doing jihad. Jihad means struggle in terms of Sunni Muslim. And that is, there's two Islams. There's one called Shia, which is Iran, and they don't do this. But the Saudis, they paid for 9/11, the Arabs to go fly the planes into the buildings. They paid for that from Saudi Arabia. And so this guy is one of those. And he said to me, he's interviewing, I said, so you're not a Muslim, but so he goes over, I'll show you what happened. Come in here. And I'm sitting in a chair here. And he comes in to talk to me because he wants to rent from me. And he stands over here, and he said, well, I do the prayers once in a while. He went to his knees right there and started telling me, I said, so you're using the prayer book, so you're a Sunni Muslim. Well, I don't practice enough. He couldn't bring himself to admit it. And what he was doing is following there's a thing, Saudi Arabia has a different, what they call Sharia law, and these people are called Wahhabists. And if you ever want to learn something interesting, these are the people that flew the planes into 9/11. And this guy said they were all just crazies, like they weren't real. No, they're very real. And they're just like him. And when they call somebody out for jihad, a bishop, if you will, or a priest calls them out. You are called for jihad, and we will tell you what your job is. Those guys called for jihad that did 9/11. And he was very, very nervous with me because I had him in a trap. He wants to rent from me. He couldn't admit that he was what he was because he was afraid I'm against Islam. I'm not against Islam. I am against people like that. And I'm not against the Shia Islam that comes out of Iran. Anyway, so I'm telling you this, you're gonna hear more and more of this stuff as you grow older. It's gonna crop up in your conversations. When you have serious conversations with people, oftentimes people want to say, well, I like that boy and I like that boy, and all we're about is finding a boyfriend who will take care of us or a richer man will take care of us or something like that. We have to or we're gonna be on our own. What are we gonna do on our own? Don't get your ass pregnant, right? That's the ultimate thing. I'm not gonna let some son of a gun make me pregnant. And then I'm stuck. That's how my mom was, stuck with children. She's on her own without anybody. Somebody walked away and left children with your mother. Am I right? And then you're afraid because you weren't born here, you were born somewhere else, that the ICE organization is going to grab you. And right now you should be afraid. I would be if I were in your shoes. It's not something to be ashamed of, to admit that. I'm not going to blabber it to other people, but you are illegal, and you're the people that the president that just lost an election was talking about when he first ran for election. You were the worst. He said that about you. Your father and I had long conversations about this. I said, if you are going to follow somebody who's willing to do that to your own people, and you're going to defend him, we've had that argument several times. And I don't want to knock people to their knees in an argument, but I do want to understand, if you don't want something to happen to you, and you wouldn't want something to happen to her, and vice versa, right? That way. So it's really important who the president is now, for you guys, especially right now. If they make DACA a permanent thing, then you're in pretty good shape. How long that'll last, though, elections change government. And if Biden is afforded the president, and that stays that way, but he has to run again, and he has to reinforce what he did before, who knows? You guys are vulnerable. You guys are in a precarious situation. So you've got to really think about what you're doing and where you're going and what you're going to do in life. If you can make the money, get yourself protected with money, that's one thing. But you may have to leave the country at some point. You might even be better off doing that. My granddaughter moved to Switzerland earlier this year. She missed the virus, and she's living in Switzerland, doing well. She has a European passport. I have a European passport. I could live in Europe. She can too. I had it, so she could get it. You guys could go back to your original country, but you want to do it when you're closer to being an adult and you can manage on your own. But you don't know anybody there, right? Do you know anybody in your country in Honduras?
They all came back here. They all came here.
So there's nobody there now.
Well, my dad's not.
Your dad's still there? So you could go back to him. So you do have, that's not a bad option necessarily. You need to know what that means if you did that. That's important to know. You know. So, well, I want to thank you, brave souls. You didn't realize you were brave, but you are. And maybe you hadn't thought about it. Maybe you will think about it. And it's important to know what your government can do for you and to you. So it's important who the president is. It really matters. If he cares about human beings, he's like Joe Biden. If he doesn't, he's like
Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden does not care about human beings.
Is Joe Biden? No, it's for them to answer. That's what I said.
Do you guys hate Trump? Yes or no?
That's not about that.
No, just be honest.
Alex.
No, let's be honest, guys. I mean, Trump has done bad immigration policies. We hate Trump for his immigration policies.
But that's your dad talking. I was asking you a different question. You know I was asking a different, what was I doing?
Now, answer his question, guys. He's a good guy. I'm not gonna be mad.
I don't want to hate anybody.
I mean, do you guys hate Trump?
Let's put it this way.
What is his question?
Who do you trust? Do you trust the new president? You don't know what he can do. You have no idea. But can you trust the old president? You can trust the old president? That's Donald Trump? See, you're not sure yourself. You know, have you been told not to criticize the president by your mother?
No, I can witness to that. No. They have not been.
So if you know that someone's willing to,
You're not asking the question right, Augie, because they will answer it.
Alex, please allow me. Let me go far enough before you jump in. He's your father, so he wants to help you and protect you. I'm simply wanting to know if you heard, for example, that somebody down the street from where you live was taken out of their house, somebody you went to school with, and they were illegal, how would you feel about that? Do you have a good friend?
Bad for him.
Huh?
I would feel bad.
You would feel really bad. But if you knew that it was done by a thing called ICE, and then the person said they can come and get you too, which they do, what would you do? What would you say? We talked about this on the table a little bit. The guy that made that happen was Donald Trump. That those people were taken, he felt bad about. He would be the one we'd have to blame for that. And he was and is our president until January 20th of next year. He remains so. So all I'm saying is, you've seen some things that I've done. We talked about how you guys can financially maybe do something about your life in the United States. But you can do this in other places too. It may not be good to stay in the United States one day. It may be better to leave. I may sell everything I have and move to Europe and not stay here at all if it gets bad. But it can get bad for different reasons. So your future is, you can do math and you can succeed in school. And you feel more than she does, or at least I don't say you feel more. You respond about your feelings more than she does. Why do you hold back? You do hold back, and you admit it, right? Yeah, you do. So, why? You afraid? No? You're not afraid? Say what you think? If you were to say anything to me that you disliked what I'm doing, what would it be? Because I want you to tell me what you don't like, as well as what you do like, or what your feelings are. You're important. You guys are important. Other people are going to see this and say, he did a shitty job of interviewing those kids. Or they're going to say, well, at least he's trying to do that. And he did get something out. You said how you felt, and how your mother felt, and how she was being careful. You have to be careful in your situation. And nobody is in your situation like you are. So when somebody talks to you about your situation, so what if you're saying, what have you got to lose? You're saying that about me. What have I got to lose? Isn't that right? So the point is, I'm trying to get you to talk about the things you're planning to do. We talked about how you can financially improve yourself when you get older. And you're right to be educated older, you know that.
Hey, Ivana, answer him. Here. Answer him. Answer his questions.
Give him $1 and answer the question.
It's that easy. Answer.
He's ordering.
Augi, answer her. I mean, quite.